We ready?
You know what? Chewbacca is actually great help when it comes to managing your emotions, and the solution doesn't even involve ripping out the arms of your enemy.
So I've never been more excited to hit a red carpet in my life. How about you, Goose? Is that really what you're going to be wearing?
I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. Doesn't that feel so good?
Yeah. Weird.
What's Vader doing with this, torpedo thing? Is there a show I missed? Vader has a Mando weapon on him? Blasphemy. You know what? You fall.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here!
It's a Gundam. He's just a piece of crap.
Disney is a fat, corpulent pig of a company, run by invalids and progressives too far removed from the cultural zeitgeist that they can't grasp simple concepts. And the worst part is they believe themselves infallible.
I feel like Star Wars is very patriarchal, so it was kind of cool to have this sort of woman-centered figure.
Till the box office numbers come in and another multi-million-dollar film comes back tits up or barely breaks even.
Don't even get me started on the game of musical chairs the CEOs played back in 2020. Bob versus Blob.
In a move I like to call girl bossing too close to the sun, Disney has gone out of its way to take two of the biggest intellectual properties geared towards males and tried to rebrand them for the non-existent female audience. We watched the MCU turn into the MSHU in real time, a phrase Nerdrotic should have trademarked and sold merch for because he'd be a multi-millionaire. The highs of Iron Man, Captain America, and the Avengers were now the lows of the Marvels and the Fantastic Four, the Eternals. The Fantastic Four, there's one, a film Disney wanted so desperately to succeed.
I'm going to be teaching the cast of Fantastic Four to play their characters in Marvel Rivals. In a real game, we'll see. We'll see. So, that is your character.
Your planet is now marked for death.
Oh, thank God.
Oh look, another male character has been gender swapped with a story arc you'd expect from a Reddit fanfic. Kevin Feige does it again! He has less ideas than hairs on his head.
Where is your guard? Where is your guard now?
Star Wars went from being an iconic global phenomenon with phrases and references that lasted decades. What Disney did to Star Wars will one day be a future case study on how to kill a brand that's worth billions of dollars in less than 5 years.
There has to be a creative through line for everything, right?
You know, I think first of all, the thing that we really aspire to constantly is quality.
How many times must women be made CEOs and tank a brand before the companies learn anything?
I did pose this provocative idea, who is Luke Skywalker, that would be something that was said by one of our characters.
Why was who is Luke Skywalker such a fascinating question?
I guess because it spoke to a new generation. It was that idea that there would be young people for whom Luke Skywalker was essentially a myth.
There isn't a day that goes by or went by as we were making the movie where we don't talk about George. You know, it's the standard, what would George do?
George gave you an outline for the future Star Wars films, and you literally threw them away, just like you did to the expanded universe. You goblin!
One of the things that we talked about very early on was that the villain in the movie be young. He's in the midst of adolescent angst.
And Kathy's like, Adam Driver. We're like, mic drop.
Is owning the chuds worth us having no entertainment or culture? Virtue signaling doesn't create or promote art. It supports creative stagnation.
Incredibly diverse in the Eternals. It's just the diversity of this cast here. It's a diverse team.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with Jack Kirby and honoring the creation of the characters, and it just led us to look for a diverse cast who happened to be
incredibly diverse in the internals. It's just the diversity of this cast here and bringing diversity to the forefront and the screen here. You are such a champion for diversity, and you're a woman of color as well, and making sure that there's representation.
This superhero team looks like the world.
Diversity.
It's amazing.
Well, for both of you.
Kill me, please. I want to die.
And all of the signs were there. Disney just chose to ignore them. And the fan base, writing off all criticism as beard tubers, bigots, reactionaries, and so on.
Major Disney investors warn of damage to brand value due to unsustainable pricing.
To make up for losses with the subpar streaming site, Disney did the only thing they could do. They jacked the prices to the theme parks.
Disney's reliance on raising prices in its theme parks to make up for losses and its streaming business risks damaging the value of the brand and the business's long-term health. Activist investor Nielsen Pletz warned. According to Pletz, investment firms, Disney, blah, 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 the company's worth around $900 million. What? Spending at Disney theme parks has risen to 40% since 2019.
To hell with that! Take my kids to Universal Studios.
They knew they had Disney adult pay pigs, and they milked them for all they were worth. But it gets worse.
The investor says Disney is in crisis and called for major changes to the media giant. He criticized decisions including over-the-top compensation to top executives and what he describes as an overpayment for acquisitions of much of Rupert Murdoch's Fox.
Everything is down. Quickly, give Bob Chapek a raise.
I'm not even going to touch on how Disney has beaten us over the head with mediocrity for the last close to 10 years, relentlessly. Normally, these type of beatings come with a felony charge, or misdemeanor, or prison time.
Disney Plus oversaturation backfires as Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar face brand damage. People don't care. According to the Wrap Studios, decline in momentum has led to a significant subscriber loss of 700,000 Disney Plus users.
Disney Plus sucks, dude.
One anonymous producer at Marvel Experience said, given the quality of Marvel, Disney Plus output has been incredibly mediocre. It's dragging the entire brand down and diluted its creativity. People don't care now. That sense of burnout isn't exclusive to Marvel. Star Wars has also suffered from its own content overload, a marketing executive said.
I wonder where they came to that conclusion. Must have been after like that Star Wars cruise dropped dead within a couple bumps.
When you went to a Star Wars movie, it used to be special. But there's a difference between let's have a movie every 4 years versus let's have 3 shows on air all the time and have a movie every year.
Trying like hell to recoup the money they lost buying Star Wars and still haven't done it.
People Don't Care sums up the MCU and Star Wars perfectly. Andor was a great Star Wars show, if not the best thing to happen since Disney acquired Star Wars. But nobody cared, because Disney beat a dead horse into a fine powder, my dude. Then Bob Iger snorted it and gave himself a raise. While Kathleen Kennedy focused on another female-focused Star Wars movie.
Girl power!
And that brings us to current times.
Disney's Boy Trouble. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggle.
I guess Brie Larson and Pedro Pascal didn't connect with people who have normal testosterone levels. Go figure.
Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months. Multiple sources tell Variety for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men is defined by sources as ages 13 to 28, aka Gen Z.
Disney would actually have to hire normal human beings outside of Hollywood, and they'll never do that.
I would say arguably the gayest Star Wars by a considerable margin.
Girl power!
In fact, Disney would also have to take Boba Fett's ship and rename it the Slave One again. Do it, you cowards! You absolute creative degenerates!
Every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular are a lonely gaming-obsessed group who were hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns.
They're like sitting here acting like COVID just made all males retarded or something. And let's just face it, the media never misses a chance to shame men. If you've seen Gen Z females on TikTok, they're going batshit crazy.
Stay away from me, white man! Don't look at me!
I'm feral today. Feral! Like, I want to take a bite out of those glutes in a bad way.
Claiming she could take it no more, the young mother released the emergency brake, allowing her car to roll backwards into the nearby lake.
Good for her.
But let's ignore that. The men like video games. How sus is that? It really never ceases to amaze me how the Japanese, with manga and anime, thrive with people of all ages and demographics. And Western media acts as if it's some sort of arcane knowledge. It's almost as if, horror of horrors, people like good stories, heroic characters, and media that isn't afraid of strong male leads, and that isn't mired in political correctness, representation, and every other piece of bullshit that we have over here, while leaning heavily on nostalgia bait. How will Disney ever figure out such a complicated puzzle?
I don't know, man.
Nothing is funnier to me than how our society shames males while simultaneously giving them nothing to aspire to or look up to. What do you expect if you vilify them, chastise them, and tell them that everything they do is wrong? You get the problems we have now today. They are products of a corrupt and broken society, which is why the Joker resonated with fans when it debuted, turning him into an unlikely internet hero, culminating into the now iconic scene that has become an internet meme for 5 years running.
How about another joke, Murray?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
What do you get?
I don't think so.
When you cross
I think
a
we're
mentally
done
ill
with your
loner
jokes.
with a
That's it.
society that abandons him and treats him like trash.
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you deserve.
No truer words have been spoken in media in a long time.
I would say arguably the gayest Star Wars.
And of course, Warner Brothers and the director had to ruin him in the sequel because you weren't supposed to like the Joker. You were supposed to hate him. And I haven't forgotten how mainstream media tried to gaslight people into thinking that white males are going to turn movie theaters into shooting galleries.
We do have a warning this morning from the U.S. military about the new Joker movie, alerting service members that there could be potential violence at theaters that are showing the film. Amy is here with more on this. And Amy, law enforcement is taking this seriously.
They certainly are, Robin. Good morning to you. The FBI first uncovered the possible threats online from alleged extremists, sparking new fears after that 2012 theater massacre at the screening of another Batman-themed movie.
Right.
This is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines Marvel and Lucasfilms have sated men of all ages for almost 2 decades since the company acquired them. The sources say Disney has been seeking new IPs and pitches such as Splash Global Adventures and Treasure Hunts, as well as seasonal flair like films for Halloween's Corridor. The calls come as a Star Wars machine struggles to produce any film projects, and superhero genre sheds audiences by the minute.
I guess superhero fatigue was real. Journalists gaslight you, then admit you were right a few years later.
Much has been written about the narrowing audience for superhero movies. The performance of Marvel's latest release, Fantastic Four: First Steps, which aimed to launch yet another superhero franchise led by Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, failed to meet expectations. That's despite good reviews, a promising opening weekend, and the full attention of Marvel czar Kevin Feige. Star Wars has not produced a film in 7 years. A big screen adaptation of Disney Plus hits The Mandalorian is coming next year. One top film executive at Disney rival says every studio should be looking for originals, as sequels and reboots continue to exhaust the culture, even if they're packing in moviegoers for a short term.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The Fantastic Four's marketing was the most annoying and insipid push I've ever seen to make you believe that the film was a hit before it even came out. And when it ran out of gas 1 week after release, critics and Pascal fans huffed enough copium to kill Nikki Sixx 2 times over. Disney's in for a rude awakening, especially if they think that The Mandalorian's extended episode is going to do any better than The Fantastic Four. Star Wars has reached a point where its very existence has become annoying rather than reassuring or fun, much like Mark Hamill's Twitter timeline. Let's end with Bob Iger's earnings call, because that's always lovely to hear and incredibly boring.
Our next question comes from David Karnovsky with J.P. Morgan. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to follow up on your comments regarding theatrical franchises. Disney's had great success recently with sequels and reboots. I'm interested, though, in how you think about launching new IP into today's exhibition market. Is it a fair comment that that's a tougher proposition than in the past? And then separately for Hugh, it might be early, but can you discuss or even quantify potential tax benefits at Disney from the Big Beautiful Bill in return of 100% bonus depreciation? Thanks.
Thank you, David. We continue to be focused on creating new IP. Obviously, that's of great value to us long term. But we also know that the popularity of our older IP remains significant, and the opportunities to either produce sequels or to basically bring them forward in a more modern way, as we've done, or convert what was previously animation to live action, like we're doing with Moana in 2026, is just a great opportunity for the company and supports our franchise. So I wouldn't say that we've got a priority one way or the other. Our priority is to put out great movies that ultimately resonate with consumers, and the more we can find and develop original property, the better, of course. We are developing original property under the 20th Century Fox banner and under the Searchlight banner. And look, you could even argue that Marvel continues to mine its library of characters for original property, even though, for instance, there have been Fantastic Four movies before. We kind of consider the one that we did an original property in many respects, because we're introducing those characters to people who were not familiar with them at all.
What? Well, there you go. Disney has learned nothing. They have enough money to fail repeatedly before it's a major issue. And God help us all for the cultural rot we're going to endure for the foreseeable future as they try to pretend they're going to do something different. If Disney can't even take established IPs with built-in fan bases and audience and make a hit, how in the name of God are they going to do anything original? That's the truth of the matter. In fact, Disney's whole legacy was built on stealing stuff for the longest time. The only difference is they can't lean on beautiful art and fantastic storytelling anymore, because we live in a day and age where people are more concerned with luxury beliefs and virtue signaling rather than telling you a story that's thought-provoking or compelling. God forbid you actually sympathize with a villain, unless it's a villain that they pre-approve of, like Ursula, Cruella de Vil, or the Queen from Cinderella, because frankly, to hell with it, who cares? I'm going to sleep. Rest in power, King Cobra.